Hello and welcome to Boxing in Your Face. This is Joe Cortez, referee for Las Vegas, Nevada, and we have none other than the legend, Randy Neumann from New Jersey, here in Las Vegas at the IBF convention. I took an opportunity to invite him over to my gym so we can discuss a little bit about refereeing. Randy, welcome.
Thank you, Joe.
Tell me, Randy, how long have you been a referee now?
I started in the early 80s, like 82, 83.
Now, prior to becoming a referee, you were a professional fighter. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, your history as a heavyweight fighter that you were back in the day, or were you a lightweight?
No, I was a cruiserweight before they had cruiserweights.
Cruiserweight. Tell us some of the name fighters that you fought back in the days.
I fought Jerry Quarry, Jimmy Young, Chuck Wepner, Dwayne Bobbitt, Boone Kirkman.
You mentioned Chuck Wepner. Now, Chuck Wepner is the Bayonne Bleeder, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that the fighter that Rocky Balboa, Sylvester Stallone got the idea of making those Rocky movies about?
Well, the story I heard is he had a script about an out-of-work actor, but they're all out of work, so when he saw Wepner fight Ali, he changed the script, and now we have Rocky. But I made a contribution to that film because I lost to Wepner on a cut in the Garden. I was ahead on points, but we banged heads, got cut, couldn't continue. And so maybe if there wasn't a Rocky, maybe we have Randy, a college kid, fights Muhammad Ali.
There you go. Oh yeah, talking about college, now you're one of the few fighters that were able to continue with your career as not only in boxing, but as you went to college. And what was your specialty? I mean, you became a lawyer, or you became a, what was you?
I was a business major in college.
Business major.
And I graduated with a degree in business. And then I went to work for a bank for a year and a half, and then I branched out into the financial advisory business in 1979. Met my wife, who's judging this interview. And I started my own company in '98, Randy Neumann Associates.
Okay, talking about Randy Neumann and Associates, now have you ever thought about, or probably you have, fighters need some financial guidance. And I'm a strong believer of educating fighters to an extent where we hate to see fighters, 98% of the fighters end up tapped out after their careers because they don't know how to invest their money properly. And one of the things that I've always talked about, bringing somebody on the show with your knowledge and wisdom as far as financial advice you can give fighters. Have you ever thought about trying to put something together to get fighters to learn how to invest their monies? Can you set up some kind of a program, or have you set up a program such as that?
Well, Jersey has statutes about being an official, which I am. I'm a referee, and not doing business with any boxer, manager, promoter, so that you can't have any business dealings with anybody in the fight business, and be an official. So, I haven't worked with. Before the statute came in place, I worked with Tony Ayala and some of Lou Dubas fighters. But once the statute came along, I said I'd rather be a referee than work with the athletes. Okay,
but still, I mean, I think that somebody with your experience in finances, I think that maybe after you finish your career as a referee, you probably thought about that because you're still a young man and able to continue your dreams is to help fighters not only in the ring but outside the ring as well with their finances. I think that would be a great thing. What do you think?
Well, there's a chosen few who make money now. It's kind of like the acting business. 1/2 of 1% make all the money, and everybody else struggling. Yeah,
but don't you think that fighters, I mean, even if they're making a couple of thousand, if they were to put away a fraction of their salaries, or maybe they should have something where the promoters and the managers can say, you know, let's say, not mandatory, but they would say, well, take 10% of my purse or 5% of my purse and put it to some kind of annuity where they can take that money out later on as when they retire, maybe after the age of 45, they can start drawing some money, or when they retire after 5 years, they can start drawing so much out of their investments so they can live a little better than they do that they're doing today, because some fighters are not well off at all, as you well know. I mean, you hate to see some of these great champions that are tapped out, completely tapped out, and it's a shame. It hurts me to see that. But I think that I think with your knowledge and wisdom and finances, I think you'll be able to, can you at least write something in reference to advising them?
Yeah, I guess I could do that, but boxing is such a disparate industry that there are very few fighters left now, and there's maybe a handful of guys making money who would need that kind of advice. I guess everybody could use some advice, but boxing is an entrepreneurial sport, and you know, you make your money, and hopefully you'll save your money yourself. There's really no group that's going to do it, because if you get to the state commission level, you get one kid who's got one 4-round fight, you never see him again, and you get an Evander Holyfield who's 48 years old fighting.
Right.
So.
Right. Now, talking about going back to boxing, now, most recently I saw you referee one of the great fights, and you did an outstanding, superb job, and that's with the Martinez-Paul Williams fight. Can you tell us a little bit about that fight?
Yeah, that Williams is an unbelievable guy. He throws, what, 1,000 punches a fight? I figured I got hit with about 60 of them, because he just throws punches, he doesn't know where they're going. But he's only middleweight, so it didn't bother me. But that was some fight, and you know, the fight started, they knocked each other down in the first and second round. Who knew it was going to go 12?
Exactly. It was a great fight, and I must commend you. I spoke to Benji Estevez about it at my previous interview, about what a great job you did in that fight, and I was very, very impressed with your experience and the way you had full control of that fight. It was not an easy fight to officiate, and it takes a good top-notch referee with a lot of years of experience to handle those type of fights. And you made it look easy, but me being a veteran referee myself, I knew it was a difficult fight, and I must applaud you for that. You did a great, great job.
Thank you.
Talking about refereeing, what good advice can you give some of the young referees that are out there coming up the ranks that are looking to us as senior referees? What kind of advice can you give to younger referees out there today? What should they do to enhance their skills and raise the bar?
Well, I've given some addresses to various groups, actually around the world. But to me, the key thing is to be a good referee, you got to think like a fighter. You have to anticipate things. I mean, it's obvious that if somebody falls down, you're going to go and you know, count them. But when I first started refereeing, I wanted to go and catch the guy. I didn't want people falling down. So you have to stop yourself from doing that. You have to become neutral. And actually, having been a fighter, that was hard to do.
Well, you know, as fighters, you know, I would say that most fighters are one of the nicest group of individuals you want to meet, because we have people think we're mean and tough and what, but there's a lot of compassion inside of us, and that seems to kind of carry into our duties as a referee. We got to have a lot of compassion for the fighters, and sometimes we get to feel like they're our own kids, and we don't want them to really get hurt. But even though this is the hurt business, but we try to protect them, and of course, our duties first and foremost is safety. So that's an automatic, you know. But as a referee, Randy, I've been watching you throughout the years, and you have not lost a beat. You seem to be really on your toes at all times, always thinking. And talking about being a fighter, you know, it helps a lot, I believe, being a referee, being an ex-fighter, that helps you to have that instinct. You can more or less know when you have to stop a contest, because you can look at the fighter's eyes, like when you're fighting as an actual fighter, you can see that the fighter's about ready to go, and that's when the referee has that instinct of when to jump in and stop the fighter from taking that one last blow. That could be a fatal blow. So you have to have the natural instinct of knowing when to stop a contest, not a punch too soon, nor a punch too late, and you do a great job at that. And that's what it takes to being a top-notch referee. We're here at the IBF convention this week. Tell us a little bit about what can referees learn when they come to these type of conventions for seminars.
Well, I think the best byproduct of these seminars is the networking that you have in the hallways, or you know, before and after the official sessions. When you know, it's nice to have the young guys ask you things, and you know, being able to tell them, yeah, in this case this happened, in that case that happens. Of course, you're not going to predict what's going to happen, but if you have enough background, it's a lot easier to not be surprised.
Exactly. I believe that these young referees coming up, if you want to really learn more and try to enhance your skills, raise the bar and be a better referee, try to leave no stones unturned, because as referees, we're always learning. I'm a true believer that the day you think you know it all, that's the day you got to pack it in. So I know I'm still learning, and I ran across an incident a couple of months ago where some foreign country and where they were using two different brand of gloves, and I think that's where the referees have to look, because overseas the gloves come to in our possession, and we keep those gloves until the next day, and you want to check those gloves out and make sure everything's okay. And I find that one gloves, I'm totally against two different brands of gloves, but that's administrative decision that the commissioner or sanctioning body's got to make. I'm only a referee, but I, as a fighter, I don't like to see my opponent wear different brand of gloves, because some are thicker than others, but I run across some incidents where I thought that one glove was much thicker than the other, and I brought it up to their attention, but that was an agreement they made to. But as referees, we have to try to learn and pick up little things that can occur. You have your ringside inspectors in the ring, and your inspectors are your eyes and ears, and you want them to work hand in hand with you, because you can't catch everything, especially with excessive Vaseline or too much water or ice in the trunks. These are things that we have to stay on top of. And that's why I tell the young referees that are watching this program to watch your veteran referees and watch as many fights you can on television, and pick up a little bit here from this one, a little bit from that one. I know I did. I used to watch Zach Clayton, Arthur McCandy, Tony Perez, Stanley Christodoulou. When I was coming up, I used to watch those referees, and I picked up a little bit. I picked up a lot from those referees, and then I brought in my own ingredients, and I mix it in with theirs. And I don't try to imitate everybody, but I just want to pick up a little bit from each of the experts that are out there. And I always felt that Arthur McCanty was one of the top referees when I was coming up, and it was an honor working with him. And I think that you referees out there, watch the veteran referees and pick up a little bit. If you like something that we do, pick it up and work with it. Practice a lot in the ring, in the gym, at home, to try to enhance your skills there. It'll make you a better referee. Randy, closing words for the audience before we say goodbye today?
Keep punching.
You heard it from the great Randy Neumann. See you next week.